Okay, cool. All right, we're not going to start for a few minutes. We just want to give people a couple seconds to start filtering in here. But just want to start by saying hello to everybody. Thank you all for being here and being a part of another AMA. We've had a lot going on. It was really important to take some time, just talk directly to you guys. Sometimes it's way easier to have some of these sessions where we can answer some of these questions to a bigger group, but then also for the other backers who need to, be with their families right now or off doing other things, they can come back and listen to the recordings later. So if there's anybody here, let me know if you're here. Just head over to the AMA live chat questions channel. You can just give us a little hello or a wave, or you can add a little Exogen emoji to the "Are you here" post.
Howdy, guys.
Hey, Max has joined us. Thank you very much, Max.
Yeah, sorry for being late. I fell over my dog while running through dog corridor.
Well, that'll teach the dog.
Hey guys, I'm here too.
Awesome.
A minute
All right.
to start.
Blowski, great to see you. Okay, and and you guys, just so you know, this is something we've been trying to collect some questions on. Obviously, there's some general questions we know that we're going to keep getting that we're going to be answering, but we are watching the live chat questions channel. So if you have anything, if something pops up, if you want to say anything, if you want to throw anything out there, feel free to type it in. I see that we've already got something from Teus. He's got a couple extra questions. So there's some of these that we're going to answer and some of these that weren't already planned. So we're going to answer some of them for you. But at least the first one, because it'll give us a couple minutes to let some of these other people filter in. He asked why the Genesis one doesn't continue to move away from Sol. So, I mean, there's technical reasons and there's in-lore reasons. So as we all know in space, as something is going through the different, the laws of physics, unless it's acted upon by something else, it continues to act in the way that it's acting. Usually people are using like friction, air drag, gravity for those sort of things. So if something's already in motion in space, odds are it's going to continue to move in that same direction. But, so obviously they jettisoned their engine, but they're probably underway at the time. Max, you know what? I want to say this towards the end because this goes into meteorite and comet dynamics for Exogen. So maybe we should answer that one later. Right? Yeah. Okay. I'll leave it for the end. All right, guys. It is 3 minutes after noon. So that means 3 minutes afternoon here in the west coast of California. So we're going to get started. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining us. This is a beautiful and glorious day with a ton of great news and excitement across the country because, as you all know, it is November 7th. It is Mass Effect Day, where we all get together and enjoy the exploits of Commander Shepard across the universe. We always love other little sci-fi sections and areas. But we are here with Max and Blowski, the co-designers for Beyond Humanity Colonies from Three-Headed Monster. How you guys doing today?
Awesome, thanks.
I'm alive.
We're here, yeah, still alive.
Max is here after tripping over the dog, which is wonderful. Okay, so we've collected a lot of questions from a lot of our backers over here on the Discord channel and Facebook. So there's lots of things to get through. Obviously, there's been a ton of stuff happening recently. So we'll start off with some of the pre-planned questions that we got. So we had Dirk over on Discord. His corporation is Ethereum. So Ethereum Corporation or Ethereum Incorporated asks, is there any way the community can help with the stress you guys are having to deal with? So for backstory, if you guys don't know, obviously we've had a big issue recently where we've suffered a major setback with a error or just a miscalculation on the molds where unfortunately there was too much that was going to be happening. We were pushing the limits too far, so we're going to have to readdress how we make the molds. And of course, for us, that's a major disappointment. So first of all, we appreciate the question. I'm so happy to have backers that are always trying to like help keep things a little bit simpler for us, because this is a very full-time, very stressful job. But it's going to be really worth it. So any way the community can help. The thing is, right now we do have a donation page open for pushing Exogen further as a game in itself. As you guys know, that wasn't originally the point or purpose of it, but because of the excitement and the fun that other people are having playing this game, we keep trying to bring it further along. Of course, those costs also weren't planned, but we are trying to help pay for that development as a side project. So if you guys want to donate to that, that's fine. But we want you guys to know that we're not looking for extra money or funds. We hate the idea of people giving us anything without getting something in return. It feels really weird. And it feels a bit of a failure from the business sense. So we want to do things that we can give to you, that, some sort of exchange of goods and services. So because this delay does take some extra time that we weren't planning on, that does leave people like Blowski free or freer. And I'm hoping to talk with him about getting some more graphical elements put together, that if you guys are interested in additional posters, some apparel that might be fun or interesting, or replacing things around the house with some more interesting THM or Beyond Humanity colonies, or even just general sci-fi or board game, paraphernalia, mugs, doormats, who knows? We're trying to get some of those things together. So if that's something you might be interested in, let us know. If there's anything that you might like, as far as like STL printable files for some of the, in-game stuff, we'll try to figure out a big smorgasbord of things that we can offer that hopefully will allow us to feel like we're doing the best we can to stay a normal operating business, but allow the community to help alleviate some of the additional costs that we're running through. But anyways, thank you again, Dirk. That's a great question. Another one we have from another corporation and a user that's really active on Discord, we have from Robotnik. How do you guys all feel, all of us here at THM, since you guys never stop working and we have faced some really stressful challenges? Blowski, can you talk about that? I know that there was several weeks where I tried not to talk to you because I knew that you were spending something like 36 hours a day on trying to get the instruction manuals done.
Yeah, sure. We all got our ups and downs during our work. Like we sometimes have to work in the middle of the night just to push the files to the production, or to prepare them for the community to look at. But we also try to do a lot of other stuff just to have some rest. So I don't know. We after the whole night of work, I get to sleep till the noon next day, or just have an online game with guys to forget about the work for a few hours, and just normal work. Sometimes you get a crush a night for to get stuff done, and then you can have some rest, just a little bit. Of course, the community helps us a lot because they are so kind to check the files, to check the language versions, and I'm super happy that it comes from them. We don't ask for it. They just talk to us and ask if they can help. So, that's something huge.
Yeah, no, honestly, I can't imagine trying to do something like this, 10 years ago without some of the tools that we have to stay in touch with all of the backers, like especially what you mentioned about the everybody jumping in with like an open Google document and throwing in their comments for the manuals. Like, what a huge help that was.
Just online PDF that they can comment.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we have this tool right here, Discord, for everybody to kind of be in touch with not only us, but with each other has been pretty amazing. Like, what a wonderful thing to have, honestly. It would be miserable to do this without so much like direct contact.
Dream come true during COVID era, yeah? That's
Yeah, wow, what a crazy
It
year.
is. It is. But
Okay, so
not only,
Blowski,
not only because they can catch some mistakes that we didn't see, so just
yeah,
point them out for us, and so we can correct them.
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, when you're looking at something too closely, like day after day, it's pretty easy to miss some stuff that somebody else could see walking into it. But generally speaking, how are you feeling with the whole process? I mean, this has been a long year. This has been a really long year. So how are you
Still,
feeling?
there's a lot of stuff. We got some things in production. We got some things that had to be held up because of the molds, because it's a chain of stuff to do. It's not, you cannot do everything in its own time, and then they just will collect together and make it the complete project. Some things have to be done first, then to other things to be able to be done. So we had to shuffle a little bit our calendar. So some things are closed, some things are still as files. So I'm super happy that Robotnik asked this question, because he is also helping us with some language stuff. So yeah, a lot of work behind us, a lot of work in front of us. So
Yeah.
just normal project.
Yeah,
Okay. But
we French version is going to be better.
Yeah.
well, it seems like both of you guys are in pretty good moods then. So yeah, no, I think generally speaking, we're doing really well. It's been stressful, but great responses have made it really easy to kind of bounce back. Okay,
It
so
keeps my mind together, because I was so afraid what the community will say for the news, and
oh
now
god,
and
yeah,
now yeah, it's
yeah,
like
with
a stone fell over our hearts, translating direct the Polish saying.
which is a good one. I'm going to steal that because I know exactly what it means.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So let me move on. So we've got Soul Rays with the Soulstone Corporation, another really active user over in Discord. They're asking, is it possible to have another donate option that doesn't require a token? And then a sub question, like how much is a pack of donuts and coffee in your region these days? Well, actually, with the Exogen donation, you don't have to put in a backer token. You can just follow that link directly over to PayPal if that's something you want to do. And again, we appreciate it. We just want you guys to know that those donations are strictly going to the development of Exogen to improve a lot of things. And sometimes it's hard to guess at what that might be. But we want to remind you guys that that is a web game right now that's running on JavaScript and a weird mishmash of different programs that, one day that could be running on, an Unreal Engine with, 3D
Or,
models rather than
or
sprite
Unity.
based
Yeah.
graphics, or Unity. So, I mean, there's so, sky's the limit there. So it's always just about, programming time and cost for it. So it's something that we're really excited about. It's grown in a way that we never expected, and by a fairly large margin. So we want to do more with it, but it always comes down to the cost of time and or money, usually both.
Casey, question was
Yep.
about token.
Oh well, sorry. I did say you don't need a token to donate. Like anybody can come along and do that. I just don't imagine anybody who's not a backer would.
So the token is needed just to just to make a connection in between donation and your account that you've got in our game. So eventually you are getting kind of a rewards. Those are just cosmetic ones like laurels. And this new bot that we've got almost ready, kind of. Hopefully, Cyborg will get in touch with Drew to finish it somewhere soon. We'll have also the separate channel just for the Buckers that will be advising us in which direction that the whole thing should be evolving. Let's say that will be like our board of advisors that will be helping us decide in which direction the Exogen should be going as a project. Yeah. So that's
I believe it's
sorry for hopping in.
No, it's good. I kind of forget that it is tied there, and I mean that's a good point. Like the people don't. Sorry, it's having to use the phone to call in. Anyways, what I was going to say is the backers who are doing $7 a month or more, those are the inner circle, correct? Those are the guys that are going to be finding out more about what we can do and helping direct us what we should choose, what we should prioritize.
Yes, exactly. And we shouldn't forget about extremely important part of this question about pack of donuts and coffee. So one donut is more or less around $1, and coffee is from $1 to $2. So I assume like $10 is like a big pack of donuts with a huge latte. So if it is really important, especially right now during lockdown, as we are being back at our homes, so eventually I may ask my wife if we'll be capable of making our own donuts.
Well, I mean, you kind of missed the wave on sourdough. So, I mean, donuts is a good way to go. I've actually thought about it at least once, but I try not to bring too many donuts in the house because I'm the kind of guy who will buy 12, say, oh, you know what, this will last the whole family a couple of days. Maybe we'll all have one a day. I'll have 4.
Casey, that's just a part of experiment. We need to be. I always wanted to have a Newtonian physics being taken care of in Exogen. So because of that, I first of all need to create my own gravity around me. To do that, I need to be bigger. So donuts are a part of experiments. That's serving a good purpose in Exogen. So
it's all for the greater good.
Yes, okay. That's all for you, Buckers.
Well, make sure your wife knows that. Okay, all right. And so now, Max, I do want to talk to you a little bit. We've got another question from one of our users over on Discord, Robotnik, a big Exogen lover. You know, we're asking about some of the stats that are behind Exogen, like, you know, how many daily users we have, you know, what's the average and the maximum workload of the server, max number of users that are on at any one time, and then, you know, other stuff like how many corporations are sharing their SOS network.
Yeah. So first of all, some of those, not exactly those, because Robotnik is highly aware of the statistics that we are sharing. Those are already available via the Exogen webpage before logging and directly in the game. But all of those questions, detailed questions, are very important because we do not know what kind of stats would be interesting for you guys. So if you've got any kind of proposal, just share it with us. We've got database under our control. Everything is custom made, so we may kind of step up our game and add to our task list a bit of those things to be publicly visible on the stats page. And
you know what? While you say that, I'm gonna jump in. You know, if you guys have ideas for additional stats that you want, in the Exogen, you know, section for the Discord, just drop them in Exogen suggestions. You could do that now. You could do that later, but that's a perfect place for us to log because we can always come back to that. All right, sorry, Max, go ahead.
And when it comes down to how many daily users we've got on Exogen, on average, we've got slightly less than 100. But during super busy days, especially that was last 2 CMs, we're seeing almost 200 users daily. Maximum workload So all of the most active accounts were during this day
active.
Okay, so that's
perfect.
That's the first question. Second question was about the maximum workload of the server. So currently it's over the limits, and right now as we are chatting over here, I know that Cyborg is finishing migration to the second server. That is a bigger task than I've assumed, but still I've tested today on a dev server and it works much better already. But this is ongoing thing. That is right now with us on the channel. You should be working on it. Anyways, this is something that we are going to make all the time. So it's never ending story. Optimization, upping up the game with server, those things will take time. We'll get to that because I've seen a couple of different questions touching the subject. Just assume that this won't be like a final a masterpiece that will do. That's something that we'll do right now because it's needed and it's solving a lot of different issues. But in the end, we've got a lot of different points on our list that we need to tackle to make it a bit better. And another thing is max number of user connected at the same time. That's a bit tricky because we haven't got after reading this question today, we thought that maybe we should connect Google Analytics to this page just to have this kind of information, because we've got no answer for it. And last question, last but not least, that's number of active co-op sharing SOS. I've got completely no clue, and we need to work on it with Cyborg today. We've been discussing it, so that's like a custom question to SQL database. And if more people would like to see this kind of a stat, we may just add it to the statistic page. So Robotnik, excuse me, those weren't super direct. Beside a couple of numbers that you got, the major information that we are sending to you is, if you would like to see more stats, propose those on Exogen suggestions channel and get other guys involved into it as well. Okay, so.
Yeah, okay, cool. And it sounds like there's more room for development.
Yeah, it's always. Just remember, guys, this is ongoing project. It's still beta version. So lately, like last 3 months, we weren't doing a lot of our things in Exogen. Mainly, we are doing things based on feedback. So we're carefully listening what kind of proposals have you got, and we're just trying to react and build a better ecosystem for you. So it's super simple.
Yeah, it's nothing carved in stone. We're really trying to be fluid with it. Okay, so thank you, Max. I really appreciate it. So we've got another question from Sniper Team Tango from Frontier Foundations, and he was asking. Now these are going to start going into more board game, Beyond Humanity, Colonies related stuff. But how does co-op scale difficulty with more players? If it does at all. Blowski, can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, it does scale up with the difficulty with more players than I don't know 2, 3, because it is the app that will tell you how many points you have to beat during the game, and the app takes into the concern how many players, how many managers are in the current game. And besides of that, there are also the on table rules that scale up the game. Like for instance, support needed to build modules and stuff like that. Amount of support, because the more players, the more support you need to give to the module to show up in the colony. But mostly it is the amount of points that you have to beat during the game. So it does scale up with the app takes into concern what players, what managers take part in the game, and how many of them.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So I remember there is a point limit set to help adjust the difficulty as you
because in cooperative mode you have a certain points to beat. The more difficult the planet is, the more points you have to beat. And apart from that, also the planet gives you something that you have to overcome. So yeah, it does scale up with amount of managers, from 2 to 5 managers, of course, and you also have a solo mode with the same rules. It of course doesn't scale up with amount of managers because it's solo mode.
Okay, cool, awesome. Well, that's a simple one. That's direct. I like that. Mm-hmm. Now we have another one from Ajax Random. He's asking, is there an established or expected rate of success for each of the planet difficulty levels? So like, you've got your nightmare ones, which I assume is going to be very low, and you've got your easy ones, which I assume are going to be very easy. But Max, as far as like with the difficulties, like, is there kind of like a set success rate that you've seen so far? And the sub question of that being, how hard is nightmare mode?
The first part of the question is a bit tricky because all of it depends on a type of players that we've got in the front of a table. And it's extremely hard, especially with a story-driven environment, because that isn't just like a Euro game that you've got pure math and people are just playing the game. You've got a lot of under-the-table negotiations, etc., happening during the game. So it's extremely hard to have like a rock-solid numbers run stats for the games. But we've been kind of aiming at having at least 75% success rate for the medium difficulty planets. That's an average. When we've got people that are playing the game with general knowledge about the rules. So those aren't first-time players. That's like a general starting point. And starting from from this point, we should have like almost 100% with easy and very easy, and going through hard, very hard, and we should get it to less than 50% or 50%. That's desired amount. It all depends on the group of people that you will be playing with. And
right.
Yes. And it seems like in solo, it may be a bit easier from my point of view, because you won't be arguing with the different players with different ideas that they will be promoting in front of a table. It even in co-op, not like in semi-co-op, that's purely natural, but in a co-op, that will be something that will be still happening, because people see the different solutions for the colony and they will be pushing their own agenda, even if those guys will be playing all together. That's another thing, fighting against an alpha player case. That's something that would be a completely different answer in this case. And how hard is Nightmare?
Yeah, Nightmare Plants. Tell us about that.
Nobody ever won on Nightmare Planet. I mean,
the colony starts to burn on the table.
I mean, really. Creators. Me and Blosky were fairly good in those kind of games, but really hardcore good players were trying and they failed heavily. And usually this is the fastest way to finish the game on a table.
But it will be possible because you have to collect those auxiliary fleets during the previous games that will help you out. But still, it's something that you
looking at the algorithm and math that is behind it. It seems like it is plausible that you should be able to compete against Nightmare Planet and to make a successful colony. Successful means that you won't be burning, you won't be depopulated, and you won't go under. I mean, you will finish the game. That won't be a success.
You can be burning. You can be on your knees. Just crawl up to the 20th.
Exactly.
Just I can imagine a colonist with their fingers, like they're laid on the floor with their fingers over the finish line, but just broken, bloody, and battered, unconscious.
But the major issue with it is that when I'm looking at numbers, at the math side of it, it's way simpler when you are playing the game and looking at those modules, those ports, and everything else. Suddenly you get such a huge depth of levels of interactions in between different elements that it seems impossible to make it happen. Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think the real issue is what kind of a monster would send 3,000 people off to that sort of a fate.
It's their decision whether to land on the planet or not. So come on.
I mean, it's fair. Still, you won't be burning in an atmosphere. First, you will land, but afterwards, usually it ends up. Yeah.
But you cannot, start up and go back to the orbit.
Right.
And guys,
it's a final decision if you land on the planet.
Yeah.
It's a one-way ticket.
Just remember about one basic thing. So when you will be starting a game with a full Exogen integration, it starts with a question. If you are going to play an Exogen integrated game, or you are just playing the standalone that won't be fitting into your Exogen account, like a main account for the BHC. So the second option that I told you, it's like a training. So you may do this without any problems for your main account. But if you will choose a ranked game option, it will be sent. Even if you will fail, it will be sent, and it will be affecting the world for everyone. So Nightmare.
Players have to remember that failing a game, a colonies game, is not failing their account. It's just a new colony that will show up in the world. It's just not successful.
Yeah, that will look like a burning colony or empty.
But
corridors.
It will not destroy your account in any way.
Yeah, this will be like a colony from Aliens, But
Aliens with an S.
So it won't be a nice place to live in. Yeah.
I feel bad for those people that are so excited to get off of Earth and then they end up in a place like this. Just very depressing.
Yeah. Hey, there's Prestarum 4. Yeah, that's a.
They found that. Yeah. Yes. Why choose a nightmare plan when you guys can go to Prestarum?
Because they can't do that. Because corps may test themselves. Because this is.
Because it's there. Yeah, it's the Mount Everest thing. Why did you climb it? Because it's there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a decision that comes up from the central, and the managers don't have anything to say.
Well, that's not where I'm sending my favorite managers. Okay, all right. We have some more questions. Let me push on. So we have another one from Frontier Foundations. What do you see in test games that causes the most colony failures? And I assume what they mean is, what is like the highest on the list of the reasons why people fail a game? Blowski, can you talk about that?
Sure. I think it's the economy. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but I think
more than 60%.
It's mostly the economy. If you fail to build a colony, it's because you've had too much terra independence. You had to take the loan too many times. So that's the most thing that fails the colonies. The second thing are the riots, I think. Because if you don't care about your happiness and security in your colony, you will just end up with people walking on the streets and burning everything and trying to drag you out of your office. And then you fail. So that's the second thing, and of course the biggest killer, or not the most often one, is the combo of these two. Because if you take too much loans and also have riots, I think there's no way you will go back and win the game.
Yeah, I gotta say,
think ahead.
Yeah, riots and that's such a crazy one because you can come back from riots, and some of the most memorable games I've had, we've had 2 months of riots, and then the Marines come in and have wiped out 7,000 to 8,000 colonist rioters, and then I've got almost nobody left in the colony, and we still managed to survive. But what a wild time it must have been on that planet.
Okay, Max could say something about it. Max could say something about it because there was one game that someone was playing Athena. He was trying to become a president, so he went to the edge of the knife and pushed the colony into the second riot. So his Marines just killed almost everybody apart from Marines in the colony. So he had a huge support at the end of the game.
Oh my god! So was there anybody left, or just Marines?
I mean, I got like 7/8 of population. That was totally extreme on an edge. But I was pushing hard towards riots, and as we've started having riots, everybody were fighting me to get out of the riot situation. So they were pushing constantly different decrees. They were giving everything, free healthcare to everyone, etc.
Everyone happy, secure. Trying to find a decree that breaks the riot line.
Yeah, but I was constantly pushing this colony into the mouth of madness, doing every kind of a possibly crazy decision that could be made by a manager to push it even harder into the.
And all of it just to gain 20 victory points.
Yeah, I
all
mean,
those people.
I mean, that was super close to either we'll all died over here, or eventually I will win. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was
See,
Not win
oh
to
man,
get the president, but
yeah,
he doesn't
yeah,
win
but
see,
every time winning.
Max, this is why I miss playing with you guys, because you guys can be a little bit more crazy. Your whole goal is like, well, I'm Athena. I want to have the most population, the most citizen population group of Marines. So I just need to find a way to kill off all the others. I don't necessarily need to make more Marines. I just need to kill off everybody else. That's oh my god, that's a
It's
great
Max
strategy. I'm
that
gonna
came up with this idea, so it's not common
yeah,
in our
and
games.
and this strategy is really risky and super hard to maintain, especially if you've got in front of you players that have been already playing. They may overcome your need for chaos very successfully, especially with Sekvos, because they may block
the
riots.
riots from getting to
Yeah,
that point. Yeah.
yeah,
And it mostly
yeah,
happens when we play the in-house game, because when we play with other people, sometimes just one of us is playing, so they can have a nice play, and as first time players, they don't have such strategies. Though we have seen one game in Poznan, I
Mhm.
think that one of two groups was playing the colony and pushed it,
yeah,
yeah,
that
pushed
was
it
awesome.
to the edge, and they finished up. They finished up all 20 rounds, but they ended up with a burning colony with not many people inside, and just to end it and gain some victory points. So that was the, I don't know, other side of the coin. Playing the
That's
game,
sweet.
because you can sometimes just build the happy colony or just take everything you can out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And
That's
that
really
was a funny
amazing.
story beside of because those were two different groups playing one table close to another. So we've been able to circle around. Pavel was playing. You've been playing on one of those
Yes,
tables
because
before.
I switched with the one player that had to go, so
Yeah,
that's why I was playing, not from the very beginning, of course.
yeah. But
But my group
it
was
was so
super happy
funny.
and positive.
Yeah, guys were constantly running in between tables, checking out which map have you got, what's happening over there, and those were totally different colonies, and not because of our random
Oh,
situations that were happening over there, because of those actions that they took on the table. That was based on decisions. That was action reaction. That was something cool to see. That oh boy, they've made a couple of different decisions, and this is completely different environment that they are playing right now. They need to compete against completely different obstacles that they've got in front of them.
yeah, my
So
group was building a happy, secure colony, and the big one, they almost ended up with 15 modules. And Max's group built like 3 modules because they had to, and dragged as many victory points from the colony as they could, gaining artifacts and trying to gain the support of the people running around because their homes were burning.
yeah, dirty tricks
Wow.
all the way. Yeah,
So I can
So
imagine someone, gluing the posters to on the street when everybody is scared of how will the next day look like.
oh my
yeah,
gosh. So many ways to play. It's really fun. Okay, I want to move on to the next question, but just because Blowski, I know you're a really smart guy. I know you pay
Thank you.
attention when people are playing, so you can like kind of delve into a little bit deeper about the player experience. But the question was, what do you see in test games that causes the most colony failures? But off table, like just player interaction and player actions, like where do you think people make the most mistakes that lead to failure? Are they just spending too much too early, or are they not listening to each other, or are they trying to break out in the lead too fast? Like, what about that aspect of it?
Um, we had a lot of people playing the game, mostly for just once or twice. We didn't have a separate group that was playing a lot of games. So it's hard to answer because we didn't have the group that we could take those statistics from. But it's
That's a good point.
different every time. It is different every time because sometimes you have a group that I know likes each other. They like to build. Sometimes you have a group of hardcore players that just want to beat up everybody. They
yeah.
treat it
Cutthroats.
not as a semi-co, but competing game. So
Mm-hmm.
it is hard to tell. It depends on people. The one thing I like about our game is that it adapts to whatever people want to play. Because I mostly like to play for building up the colony, to make it bigger, to make it, I don't know, nice, to have a lot of resources inside. But when I play with people that want to collect a lot of victory points, I can still play my game and sometimes even win, because building up a colony gives you victory points. Um, so there is a place for everyone, but I don't know. It really depends on the set of players around the table.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. But while we're talking about that, what is the strategy that has kind of upset the most people, like through all the test games that players can take?
One strategy that I don't know, someone does and everybody dislikes. Is that the question?
Yeah.
Hmm.
What's the
As
dirty
in the
pool?
last question, it's not also something that you can answer directly, because it depends
Not
on
a lot of
set
people
of
have been able to
managers.
come up with strategies. Yeah.
Not only because you can, every time you can have a different set of managers, different set of their goals. Some of them you just have, some of them you take as random. So you can add some goals during the game now. So, for instance, we had last time we were playing in-house game. At the end, it showed up that almost everybody, because 3 out of 4 persons got rid of their main goals. So uh, I thought that someone is playing, to build a colony, because this manager normal does, but he just got rid of that goal and had something else in mind. I also did that, so everybody thought I will try to make resources on a green state, but I was just playing on happiness and security that showed up on the very last round.
Pavel, that was our last game, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
That was like a freaking poker game. I was feeling so confused for the whole game, and finally, in the end, it seemed like everybody felt that they are losing, and suddenly everyone were in a very bad position in the end. So
yeah, you won with 88 points, and I lost with you with 86, and we both got rid of our main goals. So
yeah,
it was unpredictable.
That was a bluff game. Yeah, everybody were bluffing, and that was pretty confusing, because nobody was assuming that others are playing the dirty game.
It showed up for the first time that 3 out of 4 persons was doing something else that they normally do. Managers.
Yes, that's a cool mechanic, and I may say, because as far as I remember, Adam Kwapinski was proposing to give an option to remove this goal, because that will create a ladder of new opportunities and strategies for the players.
I gotta say,
on the board, on the manager's board, and now you have it as a card, so you can get rid of it.
Yeah. I think the ability now to get rid of the normal main goal is so fun, because everybody assumes that you're going to go for it, and then you got all these other opportunities. You can even pick ones that are complete opposites. So
and you can get rid of it because on this planet it might be, I don't know, unachievable.
It's just impossible. Yeah, exactly. Oh God. I just can I just get sent the new version, the fast version now? I need to play more.
Print and play.
Next question. Okay. We did get one. We did get one in the chat from Moochkin, wondering with the app, is there going to be any ambient noises or music, specifically like the Spotify playlist that we created during the campaign? And so now, just so you know, we do have a Spotify playlist that is a suggested background music playlist for Beyond Humane Colonies. And one of our backers, I can't remember two off the top of my head, they made that again over on YouTube, and I believe it's somewhere else on some other free music distribution website. But Max, I want you to answer that because I know that we've had a few conversations about the app specifically. Oh my God, if you guys can hear the sirens in the background, I'm really sorry. Nothing.
So somebody
Just a
is
little
happy
bit.
about the election, yeah?
Who knows? But Max, about the app, music, noises. Tell me a bit about the splash page because I don't think we've talked about that with the backers yet.
Yes. So the answer won't be direct because I cannot answer it directly. But yes,
Oh,
there are going to be
glad I didn't
sounds.
build it up too much.
Yes, there are going to be sounds, like a typical sound effects for buttons and a couple of different things, especially for the main screen that we've got, the main menu section of our app. That's the first thing. Second thing is that we would like to have our own music tracks, like a real official soundtrack, because we even been in touch with exceptionally good and super creative musician that is highly capable of making it for us. But please remember, this project is already extremely big, and those things are digital goods that we may do in the future. So right now we aren't planning any kind of official soundtrack that we'll be adding, because that's a cost that should add like at least $50,000 uh, to our cash flow, and that's right now impossible, because the most important thing is to deliver the games that needs to be on a certain level of quality that is extremely high, that we are aiming at high. So that's the most important thing. Beside of that, probably we will have a couple of different surprises for you guys after the delivery of the game. Remember that this project isn't ending with a delivery. It's something that's in the middle. So we are already after. That's in the middle.
Between the process.
So we are already after.
It's so great.
Yes, and one extremely important thing that I cannot stress enough is the physical goods that we will be delivering. Those are physical goods that we won't be able to change easily. So extremely important tasks that Pavel was running, and also lately gave him a lot of nights in front of his PC. Those are things that we are affecting right now, like how those prints are going to look, if we'll have some kind of a typos, any kind of a mistakes in eventual, I don't know, mechanics or something like that, or some illustrations will look ugly, let's say, yeah?
You're trying to say that
adding to that, I had to sign every card in every language for the production. So stuff like that also takes time, because it was like more than 100 cards in 5 different languages. Every one of them was to be signed up by me.
Yeah. So those things are those need to be perfect, and all other things that are related to digital goods, like an app that may have something that won't be affecting the gameplay directly, like a soundtrack. It's something that we may add in the future. So we are carefully choosing things that we are affecting right now, trying to deliver, first of all, our promise of a very good game with completely new things embedded inside, like this hybrid solution that will have a lot of bells and whistles. At the same time, we are fully aware of that will be able to affect the game afterwards. So we'll be able to send you new scenarios. We'll be able to send you an official soundtrack, the additional bells and whistles that you will see as a digital in a digital form that will be easy to send it to you. So just wanted to make this one thing straight, because I love having beautiful background music for RPG sessions, or for board game. Yeah, that's a part of how to call it, creating a mood. Yeah, especially I was constantly using a couple of different playlists for BH Colony as well. But in this particular case, we don't want to do something that will be just crappy. It doesn't make any sense to buy like a generic sci-fi music that you will switch off after half of a time in front of a game when you will be running your first scenario. That doesn't make any sense. So we've got an idea to make a procedural type of generator that will be creating music on the fly. There's a couple of different ideas about it, but this is generating a lot of costs. And without it, the game will be still playable, and you will be able to use Spotify to add some mood to the table with sounds. And that's the most important thing. We need to deliver the game first. So yeah,
Right.
we are thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's super fun. And I love what you said about creating a mood. I'm a big weenie when it comes to that because I love, like, I've purchased way too many RGB lights in my house so I can, make everything blue if I need to. But I love playing background music for stuff just to try to push people in a direction. And I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but whenever I need to sit down and write a couple more pages of Exogen lore and stuff like that, I'll usually put the Beyond Humanity Colonies soundtrack on in the background just to try to help keep my head in the right space. Okay, all right. And then we had one more that I want to go back to. It was from the comments from earlier. It was, why does the Genesis one not move further away from Soul? So Max, I'm gonna really tap you on this one. As far as lore, as far as Exogen mechanics, Genesis one right now is fairly stationary. Can you talk us through that a bit?
Yes, of course. So first of all, we are trying to create a universe that has got real rules of physics, etc. But at the same time, we need to simplify a couple of different things just for gameplay sake. It's needed, yeah. So
Yeah,
how does the ion engine work in our world? We've just removed one rule that you cannot go faster than the speed of light. That's something that we've done, and it's plausible. It isn't like something that is 100% sure and that we've made some kind of experiments as a humankind, but it's plausible. If anybody wants to go into details, I'll be able to do that on the on the Discord channel. So the ships that are using ion engines are half time of the flight towards one point in a certain space to this final point. They are accelerating, and afterwards, second half, they are decelerating. So they've got they are flying the fastest, the fastest moment on the in this process is in the middle.
it's right in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. And the biggest issue with it is that if you will be trying, like with last community mission, if you are trying to pinpoint one certain point in space with your probe, you need to shoot this probe with a pre-programmed plan to make it happen. So if you are past this halfway, you won't be able to stop rapidly because you will be going too fast, and the forces that you will be pushing through the ship will just obliterate it if you will be braking too fast, let's say, yeah. But you may get your ship a bit faster, but it's counter logical because you want to save fuel. So everything is planned, and you are using gravity slingshots, etc., just to optimize the plan. So you are starting your flight with full information. Where are you going to finish it? Yeah. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that this ship has been already going in a super slow drift for years. I mean, Genesis 1.
Yeah.
Why? Because it had malfunctioned just after short time after leaving this hidden shipyard. You will be probably getting those
More information
special
about
reports,
that.
somewhere soon. So that's something that is known for Exogen, but the time in between first and last probe that has been sent during the CM was such a small gap in time that we've simplified the solution that we are searching just for one proper coordinate. So yes, it was still drifting, but no, it wasn't going fast. It was going for years. So because of that, we may simplify a bit physics just for gameplay sake and say that it's one rock solid coordinate that it's a sweet spot for this mission.
Okay. Yeah, that makes plenty of sense. Okay. Well, so now while I got you, we got another question from Frontier Foundations where they were asking about the load and save features. We know that we're going to have that, but how's it going to work? Like, are we taking the game apart and putting it back in the box?
Me.
Yeah, Max.
Okay, so the solution is extremely simple. First of all, we've got a save function that works totally automatically, and when we are moving towards the next month that's surrounding the game, that is interaction with a BHC companion app, we are just making like a save game status on our mobile device, but physically it's being stored inside of an arc.
Oh, okay.
Now to explain why. First of all, the whole game is happening inside of an arc. So the tablet, smartphone, and any kind of a device that you will be using with a BHC is like a screen for the game. The board game is running the whole code for itself directly inside of an arc. Thanks to that, you've got also save games inside of it. So, for example, if you run out of juice in your tablet or smartphone, you'll be able to switch to another device connecting to a game that is still running on an arc, or eventually to load the saved game directly from an arc. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about save files that are a little staying on
Yes.
the arc itself. Oh,
yeah,
wow,
yeah. So because of that, it's pretty much it isn't important what happened. Like, for example, you need to finish your game because something is happening, or eventually you are moving the game to the other table, or eventually you'll finish the game during next day, or something like that, or your smartphone is out of. Has got, I don't know, a battery that is depleted. Or eventually you've got batteries that you need to exchange inside of an arc. So you'll be pretty much switching off your colony for a while. But you will be always getting an option to load the latest state of a game from last month. So everything that you've got on your table set up is all okay, because you will be just recalling the last state from an arc.
Okay. And, we got a question in the comments where they were just asking how long do the batteries last? I mean, since we're talking about it.
Up to 30 hours. 30 hours. 30. That's something that we've been working super hard on, and I'm super happy about our Marek, that's our electronics engineer that was working hard on it. Mateusz was spent a lot of time working on the optimization of our code just to use less and less electric power in it. And this is huge, guys. We spend a lot of time on it, and I'm super happy to inform you that we are hitting right now up to 30 hours with regular alkaline batteries.
Oh, not even lithium batteries.
Fully charged, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Half charge. Okay. Well, that's amazing. That's pretty good. So, 10 games minimum, or maybe 5 really miserably long games.
Yeah, if you will be ordering pizza in the meantime.
Yeah. You got a bunch of people that don't want to finish very quick. Okay. All right. So, Frontier Foundations, they sent a lot of questions. Now we've got a really good one that I'm kind of looking forward to. What advantages and struggles do you anticipate in terms of app development after the games have shipped? Now, I know we talked a little bit before with the other question about, soundtracks and, other sound effects and stuff like that. But as far as advantages and struggles for the app part of stuff, what do we plan for after release, once people have the games in their hands?
Oh boy. We need to have
it's kind of hard to talk about without it's hard to talk about without spoiling some secret, because there's some things like you don't want to promise it, and there's some that's just like really exciting, hopefully creates a buzz.
So an answer for that could be that whatever the things would be, it is possible for us because it's an application on your mobile phone. So even if our community gives us something that they need, that they would like to see on the app, we will be able
Feedback will be essential. That's something that I fully agree. Exactly the same thing that is driving Exogen evolution. Exactly the same thing for the. We do already assume that our graphical user interface will be some kind of a mess after being tested by over 1,500 people. So definitely we are going to update the app. It won't be like abandonware that we are creating, putting to the app store, and we are forgetting about it. We've got a lot of different ideas. And guys, just to show you what kind of promises we aren't giving and we are delivering. Nobody said that Exogen will be created. So think big.
Yeah.
And we are going to make it. So I just don't want to spoil any surprises, but we've got huge and enormous plans for it.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of fun stuff for that.
But there's struggles also in this question mentioned, and I may say that those are two. First of all, making a mobile app that is ongoing project will eat a lot of funds to make it happen. We'll be doing our best to continue work on it. We're dirt cheap, yeah. We are from Poland. Everybody are laughing that Polish coders are the best and the most affordable ones. Those are the best and the most affordable ones. But the second thing about it is that in real life situation, we would say that the struggle will be to make it better, etc. I'm thinking rather vertically. Vertically, that we need to spread towards different devices that may be used with the game. So we'll have the.
You mean aside from like smartphones and tablets?
Yes, exactly. So think of it that we've got Android and iOS support. So let's say with an Android version to switch to Android TV. So we'll have an option to play on a, let's say, Philips TV set that has got a Bluetooth module, and those are like right now. All models, all OLED models are capable of doing that, and you will be able to use an app with regular TV remote. That's something crazy from my point of view, because that's super easy, that's easy to stop. You've got large screen that you may use for beautiful graphics in the meantime during the game. Everybody will be looking at large screens, so that will be easy for them just to check out how those resources are looking, etc. So yeah, definitely that's one of the directions. Steam app, that's something else that we would like to do. There was also one question about the separate version of apps. Steam, because it's safe, because it's something that will be an executable file, and eventually if a meteorite will hit Warsaw and we will disappear from the earth, you will be still enjoying the game after we will be gone.
I mean, enjoying it a little bit less.
What a positive view of the future.
Well, so now, Max, I plan on buying a smart fridge with a screen in front of it. Obviously, you're going to have support for smart fridges, correct?
Does it have Android on it?
I don't know.
And Bluetooth. That's the second thing that is needed.
Okay, so as long as it has Android and Bluetooth, it's on the list.
Yes, but this would be kind of crazy to play your board game on your fridge. I'm just saying, yeah?
You don't know how often I stand in front of my fridge. Okay, all right. Well, I mean, yeah, that's good. I love that. I mean, there's definitely a lot of challenges, and there's a lot of things to put it onto, but I think this will be really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna break from that one. We've got one last specific pre-planned Beyond Humanity Colonies question, again from Sniper Frontier Foundations. What does the new mold making expenses mean for another run of the game? And so that's something that we didn't really ever want to talk about, because we want to focus on this. We want to focus on our backers. But during the production, we did create those pins, first to the stars, because we realized that there's going to be more games in the future. There's going to be more opportunities for people to, hopefully be fans of Three-Headed Monster and the Beyond Humanity Colony universe. So we want you guys to, know how important you are, because you're the first ones there. You're the first ones to say, we believe in you guys. We want to try this out. We're going to risk it and see what happens. And anything that really comes from this is thanks to you. But that being said, with now something closer to $100,000 being spent on molds, it would be pretty ridiculous for us to only use them once. So we're still focusing on delivery as fast as possible. We're trying to make sure that we give you everything we promised and, a lot more. But at some point, it only makes sense for us to probably do another run of the game. Otherwise, there's just a lot of sunken cost that doesn't get amortized out. So, hard to say when we need to get this game out. We need to get feedback from you guys, see what we can do and change. And we have other games that we've already planned that we want to put out there to expand the universe with. But I would imagine that at some point in the future, you'll probably see another Colonies campaign. But hopefully that means by then we've made you fall in love with the game. We've made you excited and happy, and we can count on you guys to be there to say, you know what, I know these guys. I've seen them work. I think you should jump on it. It's going to be a real joy to have in your collection.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
If I may add something, guys, we just
please.
need to be swift and honest with you guys that definitely we're going to make another game in Beyond Humanity universe as our second project that we are going to do. So don't assume that reprint will be done like in January, because that will be probably like 1 year or something like that.
It's gonna be a while.
Yes. So I read just like Proud Original Version owner. Yeah, for a long time he will be a exclusive version owner because second game won't be using even one piece from the first game, and we are going to focus on this development of this second project after finishing all things related to production of VHC. So that's a long-term plan. So don't assume that you will see us on Amazon in 3 months or so. That won't happen. Definitely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things to be done first.
Oh yeah, that's it's going to be a long process. Okay, all right. So that was kind of the main board game questions. But I mean, there's some production stuff. We had another question that came from Robotnik, who was asking, do we know if we're going to be able to share any pictures or footage of the new mold making process? As it does seem really cool. And it is, you guys, this is the same process they use to make phones. Not so much iPhones, because those are just flat and pointless. But, I've seen plenty of amazing phones out there with amazing curvature and body shape and, neat stuff. And it's, it's beautiful. It's amazing.
It's don't get me wrong. It's in smartphones, everything is all about precision. So yes, and in our case, it's also extremely important because we've got simple electronics, but those need to fit perfectly enclosures, and those enclosures need to work perfectly with corridors. Otherwise, either those will be becoming loose spots, so the one thing will be coming out from another, etc. So that's something that we cannot see on your table, customer's table. But the second part about it is that we'll be sharing everything that will be able to share, but we are slightly blocked by a COVID right now. That's first thing, and second thing is that we are touching patented technologies of our contractor. So lately, I was informed that
in these times, so if I may comment, in these times we cannot just simply go there and make some pictures. And second thing, that we are pushing them to work. So we cannot every time make them go around and make pictures of their work once, because they don't have time for it, because we are pushing them to work on the project. And second is that they have patented technology to do that stuff.
Some parts of the ESD processing, especially tools that are being used for it, we won't be able to post any pictures of these. But definitely we've got no problems with posting the final outcome of it. So that's something that definitely we are going to show you guys.
And we will try to gain something for you of the footage or pictures, but we cannot promise that.
Yeah, but still, it's like 60 something pieces are being made with ESD and the rest are being made with CNC. Right now, those CNC parts are secured, so that's something that won't affect us in terms of a possibility to show anything to you. But with a electrode process, that's something a bit more tricky because finally the matrix, when those are ready, like a molds, those are making final parts. So the time distance in between getting those parts and finishing those molds is extremely short because those are days. So yeah, definitely when pictures will be coming, those will be coming with extremely good news. Like we've got shitload of pieces. So we'll be also laughing heavily that we are already past this particular problem. And don't get me wrong, we are focusing on fixing, first of all, those most complicated parts that we've got in front of us, because all other pieces are simple to do. And making injections isn't even time consuming. We need to have addressed those most difficult parts of this project, and this is mainly an arc enclosure with a top head section for electronics and some of the modules that are overcomplicated because Pavel made those beautiful. Yeah, so
Good
and
job.
that's a negative stuff. Beautiful in this case is something negative.
I mean,
Oh,
those are
man.
overcomplicated because just to explain a bit about it. Uh, those buildings like atmospheric synthesizer, technical zone, automatic well, towers of community tower and community dome, and nuclear power plant. Those are. This is 100% sure that you couldn't do that with regular CNC machines, or eventually you should build like a overcomplicated molds with a
Like a
lot of
multi-part.
multi-part
Like
mold with
inserts
moving
and.
parts. Yes, so
Oh shit.
ESD and a bit
and
of
we would have to change really a lot to
yeah,
make it back to the CNC technology.
yeah. So that is in that direction. So we chose an ESD option and overcomplicating the process of a molds creation, but this is giving us like 95% of previous design. In some of the places we needed to like move or remove one of the windows that we are using as windows inside of an enclosure for the glass elements, etc. But finally we are getting almost exactly the same pieces that that Blonsky designed for the game. So those changes are technical. Those aren't affecting like those aren't ugly because of that.
Yeah,
We
it's
needed to
sometimes
do
about
Okay.
the fitting of the
yeah.
electronics or LEDs or the glass piece inside.
So enough said. Next question.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, while we're speaking of that, I mean, that's been a pretty big piece of news for us recently. And we were telling people that obviously we didn't have an idea of how that timeline was going to shake out. You know, because we found out, we all freaked out, and then we put out an update within 24 hours. So, have we gotten better word back on the new timeline? How that's all going to work out as far as like delivery or production goes?
Yeah, I'm just opening it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, please share.
It still changes a bit because
Yes.
all the time
Well, I mean,
the guys are working on
nothing's
it.
set in
The
stone.
engineers are there's a little bit tweak in the timing, mostly the shorter, because they try to make it a little bit simpler every time they work with it.
So, long story short, we should be getting till end of February or the beginning of March, because that's like a 2 weeks period that we've got like tasks are being finished and we may receive
The last
those.
elements.
The last elements, but we've done some changes because we've got whole documentation for the processes, and we've moved those around on the timeline to optimize a bit the production processes on our side. So because of that, we've moved like pieces like currencies, because those are super simple. Those are in CNC. I mean, those tokens, credits, terrain goods, and other things, plus corridors to the very beginning of deliveries, because that is being made like in a different part of the factory. So we'll be receiving those in less than 2 weeks corridors, and those will be assembled. And afterwards, we'll be dividing those currencies into separate bags for all of those boxes. And this will be stored in Warsaw in our warehouse over here. And afterwards, in 2 weeks, each 2 weeks we'll be receiving a batch of modules, module parts that we'll be able to use, because we've got already all of those 8-bit electronics ready to be fitted inside. So we'll be we aren't going to make final assembly, like connecting 2 pieces together with electronics inside, over 4-week crazy idea that I've got before, because that will be spread all over the almost 3 months.
Like when we
that's
get
great.
the currencies first, we can just divide them into bags to just
Yeah.
throw them into the boxes and prepped already. And some of the modules that will come earlier than others can be assembled, and it's not just one batch that we'll have to work on for a longer time. It will be, divided in time. So after last elements, it will be a lot of shorter time to push it to the production and to complete the boxes.
Some trivia. So 64 parts from 104 parts that we are making for modules, those need ESD type of production processes. So those 64 parts are taking more than 12 times more time to be prepped as a molds against the rest 40 pieces that we've got on our list that are purely CNC. 12 times more time on machines and with engineers working on it.
Yes, and saying again, it's not just some simple tweak that we could push them back into the CNC technologies. It's more complicated, so they would have to be redesigned to be able to be pushed back, because the colony is tiny and has a lot of details that we tried to make them more 3D.
And additional info is also that, for example, atmospheric synthesizer is using altogether 15 to 16. Just a second. This one is using 15 electrodes just for one piece. I mean, top piece that is going, because the atmospheric synthesizer
not the big one, not the biggest one.
Yeah, not the biggest one, but one of the most complicated. Yeah. So those are being used. I mean, we will use 15 of these tools that are expendable. So we won't be using those, because those are pretty much vaporized afterwards, just to make one mold. Yeah. Automatic well is even more complicated, because it's using 16 electrodes, and that's the most complicated part from the regular modules.
Because they get used very fast.
Yeah. We were going into details, but having over 100 pages of documentation about the processes, I'm pretty much sure we've got extremely good partner, and I'm super happy that we are working with those guys. They've got dozens of years of decades of experience in injection molding and creating very complicated molds. So I'm super happy that we aren't alone over here.
So we're positive about choosing the best way to produce it with them.
Okay. All right. I'm going to move on. And Max, watch out. I think you're starting to run out of Wi-Fi. You might want to put a couple more quarters in the machine. Starting to sound a little funny there. Okay, so we've got a couple more questions. These ones are more Exogen related. And I'm going to really mess this name up, but Crythuria? Unfolding Technology?
Steven? Let's focus on the name of the company.
Yeah, oh my God, I'm just going to spend the next 5 minutes on this one. Never said it out loud, just always read it. But he was asking, in the BHC annex, it states that all exoplanets discovered and explored in Exogen will become available to colonize in colonies if those are in mission range. Okay, so can mission range be calculated using the shared SOSs, or is it only like your own SOSs? And if so, if it's with shared, will there be a licensing charge for using the shared SOSs to colonize a planet? So it's kind of like a back and forth sort of thing. So like if there's something that you can reach through shared networks in
As
the
for-
game, you play a game there, are you paying the licensing fees to get there in Exogen?
As for our current decisions, because paying licenses for going through other sources is not yet prepared, it's still on the list. But as for our current decisions, the the game will check if the current planet is in your range. So either with your own or shared stations, orbital stations, but you will not have to pay for it because. It's not the decision that you make on the Exogen. So it's half and half in each I don't know, each decision, because it will calculate the range, but it will not take your licenses. Probably it's still the decision that we have to, make as final one. But these are our current decision for it.
Okay, so long answer short, maybe.
Long answer short: yes and no.
It just depends.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I was typing one thing out here. Just one of the chat questions was, if people are still going to be able to disassemble the buildings in order to, get all the electronics and the acrylic parts away from the ABS parts so they can paint.
Yes, we are not gluing them, so it will be joined on. It will not fall apart when you take it out of the box, but you will be able to open them just to take the parts and to paint it, because that's the reason for the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
And then, oh, go ahead.
yes, we keep that we keep that answer, because this question was asked once.
Yeah.
It didn't change.
Yeah, no, it's really important for us because we know that there's a huge background and community with painting minis, and
So
we
as for
wanna
now,
see.
we're not gluing them. It will speed up the process of making them home, of collecting them together, and it will give an opportunity to disassemble them to paint.
Okay. And the other question they had, Kronobi, he was asking, what are the in-universe scales are we talking about for the Ark ship? And right now, I don't know if you're playing Exogen that much, but we just had the Genesis 1 discovered. People are starting to get their science vessels back, and the reports for that, which appears to be an early prototype of the Ark, is coming in at 1,960 feet in length. But of course, that should be assembled vertically. So, but 1960 is a fair
And we
number.
have to remember that the Ark that you play, that is your main building, the starting building, is not the whole ship. It's just the part of the ship that lands on the the planet, because some of it just stays on the orbit. It's used, the whole tanks of the fuel that were used in the journey. So it's just a part of it on the planet.
They are
we're gonna
using
have
tanks.
Hmm?
They are using tanks.
yeah.
No, I'm just saying that's like so Terran Republic.
Yes.
So Terran
not
Republic.
not in this game. That's beyond humanity. Colonies, watch out. Or
But
beyond
they're
humanity,
leaving
watch
those
out.
tanks on the orbit, so that's a crazy idea.
Yeah, we really need. If only we had infinite amount of time and money, it'd be nice to put together like a little video of, like an educational Star Trooper esque video about like how the ship gets there, the other fleet vehicles with it, and how it disassembles and reassembles on the ground. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah. We've got a weekend in front of us, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Half of
gonna
it.
keep working on learning Blender. Okay. All right. So now the next one we had from Dcheds, Midgar Holding. He was asking how many megacorps, or sorry, how are megacorps going to be structured, and is there going to be a cap on the membership numbers?
Me.
Max, Yeah. Max.
So first of all, megacorps are we're planning to give you the opportunity to use those functionalities before BHC integration, so before delivery, just to add some additional gameplay options for you while you are waiting for VHC. And how those are going to be structured. So those are going to be groups of corps that are working all together, and those won't be using shared resources in between those. You will have a licenses that will be used just by megacorp. Corporations will be paying taxes to the megacorp, and megacorp will be run by the group of players, depending on different levels of those players inside of this megacorp. So let's say we'll have a CEO of the megacorp that will introduce other players to this megacorp. This megacorp will have a hard member cap. So let's say it will have up to 5 people that may join the corporation. They will need to agree with the rules of engagement in this megacorp entity. Like, for example, what kind of levels are inside of this corporation, like junior corporation, senior corporation, advisor, and let's say CEO, with different options possible for all of those. Everybody will be paying taxes inside of it, and taxes will be paid not to the megacorp owner but to the megacorp itself. And member cap
So
will
it's
be
not a financial pyramid.
it may be. So, and the second thing is that the member cap will be with a couple of different levels as well. So the first megacorps will be starting with a lower member cap, and afterwards you will be able to upgrade it to the bigger numbers. And pretty much that's it. That's the basic rule of megacorps, how those are going to work.
But
Yeah.
these are the official rules. So if you're just a group of friends, you will probably take those decisions together, and just you can divide um, into certain levels. But of course, it's your idea how you will be talking inside and making decisions.
I mean, those are the rules as they stand now. I feel like we've well covered the ground that things are subject to change as it can be improved, correct?
Yeah, but still, we've been working on megacorps for a longer time already. So we've been discussing it with a couple of different backers carefully just to see what kind of reactions we are getting, and it seems like we are going in a good direction. Definitely, it will be a project that will be improved over time with feedback, as always. But still, the general idea behind megacorps is really rock solid, and it seems like it will be very good functionality that will be adding to the ecosystem.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I'm just saying we have seen things continue to change and improve. Okay, so also from Midgar Holding, we had a question about more megacorp stuff. How are the megacorps and members going to contribute to the megacorp tech tree? Like, can one person purchase something, or does everybody have to pitch into the same thing? What types of benefits are corps going to gain from a megacorp tech tree? And for mega projects, those were mentioned before, but is there any like teasers that can be given out on what type of lore mechanisms and rewards those mega projects are going to contain?
Yeah, sure. So, as I've mentioned before, Megacorp itself will have licenses. Those licenses won't be you won't be able to use those directly to do anything by your own with your own corporation. So taxes will be paid to Megacorp, and Megacorp will be spending those licenses. So Megacorp will have access just to one resource that will be basically covering everything. But the tech tree that will be a separate, much more sophisticated tech tree, let's say, that is really a tree. Will be for Megacorp, made for Megacorp, will be using those licenses, and it also will consist mega projects that are pretty much inner CMs that players that are part of a megacorp may send some missions to provide an outcome inside of a tech tree, which will make a mega project available for purchase, or eventually it will make it functional. I know that this is something that seems a bit crazy and chaotic, but it's going to be super easy when you will be looking at the panel and looking at the options that you may click on, yeah, and it will be way easier. But those mega projects are going to specialize certain megacorps in different areas, and the tech tree will be probably divided into 3 different trees that are going to be interconnected with each other. And one of these is exploration, especially for those corporations and megacorps that would like to focus on a frontier and extending ranges and speeds and you won't be getting faster ships, but probably range or eventually speed of intermission that you'll have.
For some new ways of exploration.
Yes, especially with mega projects, and that's like a 1 tree. Second tree is focusing on economics, so how much you'll be getting from MOs, how long those are going to work, how your BHC colonies are industrial in the end, and how those are affecting your passive income, etc., etc., and also mega projects related to those things as well. And third tree will be related to new mechanics that we are going to introduce with integration of board game. And after presenting megacorps, that's called influence, because we are slowly getting to this moment that we want to use a couple of different tools that we've got already working and after testing, and some of those bits and pieces you have probably seen, like for example changing number of citizens on Terra and also on Mars. So
Yeah.
those are driving influence, and the influence system will be an end game type of a solution for megacorps and corporations to feel their presence on the map and to affect other players in terms of regions and control of the planets and systems and even bigger zones. Yeah. So,
oh man, that's tempting.
But this is long plan, so just don't assume that we are going to present everything before, let's say, Christmas.
Like tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
And remember that even if we have some assumptions, because we have talked to the players and we have talked in-house about how it should look like, there will be some solution that we'll give you, but still after that we'll probably change and tweak few things so it was better for you and met all your like what you want inside the megacorps.
I need to say one thing that is extremely important. The basic thing about megacorps is that all corps that are inside of it are sharing the structure that they built. So all LBs, all SOS, FS, everything is visible. All range and also visibility that you've created. Everything is being shared between corps inside of a megacorp.
Automatically.
But, yes.
Oh, well, the LB thing, that's enough to hook me.
So you can turn off your sharing, your range sharing, but still it will be available for your megacorp friends.
Yes.
Okay, because I don't know how many other players are like me. Like I decide to strike off in literally just one direction, and every time there's anomaly on the other side of the universe, I mean, just kick myself.
I, on the other hand, built a spider on the in every direction.
Yeah. And my map looks like vomit. It has got no sense. Anyway, okay. One important thing is that I want to point out that megacorps aren't a must-have for corporations, because you will be paying a price for becoming a part of a megacorp. You will be paying taxes. That means that everything that you will mine, that you will earn on exploration, everything will be a subject to a tax that you will be paying to your megacorp. So because of that, this kind of makes a solo option very neat, because you are in full control over your own corporation, and you've got everything that you are getting from exploration payments, mining ops, etc. And inside of a megacorp, you need to play as a part of a team. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense, especially on an economical sense.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense, both economically and amazingly. Sorry. I'm just looking ahead. We've hit the hour 30 mark, and we've gotten through so much stuff. But I'm we've got so many more questions to go. I'm wondering if we might want to do another AMA in another week or two, because I don't think we can hold everybody's attention through November 7th Mass Effect Day like this forever. Max, what do you think?
I don't know. It's up to you. It's already hour 30. Nobody's telling us, no, continue on our channel. So yeah, that's the moment that we should finish everything.
Yeah, always leave them wanting more. I'm gonna call it here. I was getting wrapped up in all this stuff, and I just realized the clock was still running. Okay, we've got more questions to go.
Take those few questions and just postpone them on the next AMA. Or
yeah, I'm gonna hold on to these. They're great. There's some other good ones. We've gotten through a lot of great stuff, but I just realized that we shouldn't have a 3-hour AMA. Anyways, you guys, thank everybody for joining us. I appreciate all the the live comments, the quick reactions, and more than anything, I appreciate taking time to put some questions down ahead of time. It gives us a chance to put things in order, make sure we know what we're going to be doing and talking about, because there's so many questions that you guys have. We want to make sure we get to them. It's hard to be there online all the time. I know sometimes I've got other jobs and family responsibilities, and I come back to a mountain of stuff. So we want to give you information as often as possible. So Max is mentioning that even the Prime Senator Arya Bakshi is telling us to get out of here. All right, you guys, that is it for the THM team for Beyond Humanity Colonies and Exogen A.M.A. We just want to say thank you all of us for joining. We want to say thank you for being a part of this community. You guys are definitely the reason why it's going as strong as it is, and it continues to grow. So if you know other backers that aren't here on the Discord every day, or as often as they need to be, or playing Exogen, make sure you talk to them, tell them that they're missing out, because this is really become a huge part of my life, and I'm sure Max and Blowski can say the same thing. Like, being able to jump on here and talk to you guys, answer questions, and just randomly spout off about different stuff has been a great way to get through some of this quarantine and the craziness of this year. So I appreciate all of you guys. I hope you guys appreciate one another in this little community that's going to continue to grow over the years. But that is it for us. Max, Blowski, do you have anything you want to say before we take off?
I'll just
have
post
a great
one.
N7 day.
Yeah, have a great N7 day. And guys, one Easter egg for you on our live chat questions channel, and second one will be on YouTube when we'll be uploading this as well, as Easter eggs are becoming our thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right, you guys, thank you very much. I appreciate it. This is the end of the AMA for November 7th, Mass Effect Day. Go out there, enjoy time with your friends, loved ones, or your board game collection. We will talk to you guys again soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for hearing. Always a pleasure. Bye.
Are you ready to get off of Earth? Are you ready to leave the days of struggling to survive in the past? Don't wait for colonization opportunities. Get off planet now by joining the Ventura Private Military Contractors. Safety and security are needed across the stars, and you can be a part of providing it. Whether you are in the Defensive Guard, Transportation Security, or part of the elite Coyote Special Forces team, you'll be protecting lives and defending the values of exploration and freedom. Set up an interactive SimStim application interview now to learn about the up-to-date salary and bonuses available.